Some very serious issues at play. People were arriving at the White House in a pretty joyous mood. People there with their families, food, music, a whole sound system. But ultimately, they were there to make a very serious point that the US administration needs to take on immigration reform to help the roughly 11 million undocumented immigrants already in the United States and plenty more that want to try to cross over the southern border into the US. Now, why have they chosen this Sunday? The reason being is it was May the 1st, and it was recognised as International Workers' Day, commonly when immigrants and allies will try to present what they feel is needed in terms of change to immigration laws and reform. The organiser of the event did say that they were relieved that a new administration had come into the White House and there was some progress being made, some steps being taken. But plenty of those we spoke to on the ground at the protest feel that Joe Biden, lawmakers as well, need to take further sort of action in order to protect their rights and their status as immigrants in the US.
So I would tell Biden to wake up. He hasn't done anything for our community in his entire presidency.
There are some things done, but I definitely think that more could be done. So I urge them to do something, and I ask them to, it's about time. We've been waiting for too long, and, we do this every year in hopes that something gets done. So hopefully this is the year.
Now, the White House insists there is action being taken. Joe Biden, for example, speaking with his Mexican counterpart on Friday to try to thrash out what sort of progress can be made when it comes to reforms and other sorts of processes on the border. He says that was a constructive call. But ultimately, what it comes down to is one high-profile piece of legislation that the current administration is repealing, and that's Title 42, something that was imposed during the Trump era, during the COVID-19 pandemic, to stem the flow of migrants over the border. That's being reversed by Joe Biden, a move that's being welcomed by those at the protest, but plenty others, lawmakers, for instance, in Texas, feeling that is not a sensible decision. The governor of Texas ordering busloads of migrants who have managed to successfully cross into the US and sending them to DC, essentially saying to Joe Biden, it's your problem and not ours. And it's really the president's mission to get those sorts of people on board, in addition to other Republican lawmakers in Congress, if he wants to try to get any legislation passed. And the window of opportunity for that is narrowing by the day. The Democrats currently control both houses of Congress. With the midterms coming up in November, there's a chance they'll lose one or both of those chambers. And if that happens, it will be even harder to impose any sort of drastic immigration reforms. And ultimately, if the current administration doesn't succeed in doing that, we may very well see those that have been protesting outside the White House come back same time next year to make their voice heard once again. Benji High, CGTN, Washington.